Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SmartSpeak Podcast, where real conversations help you speak real English.
I'm Liam.
And I'm Emma.
So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's learn English together.
Let's get started. Today, we are diving into a topic that affects almost everyone listening. We are talking about artificial intelligence, or AI, and how it will change your career.
It is a massive topic, Emma. Every time you open the news, there's a story about AI taking over jobs or changing the way we work. It can feel a bit scary.
It definitely can. Many people worry that a robot or a computer program might replace them. But here's the surprising part. AI might actually make your work life much more interesting instead of stealing your job.
I agree completely. Think about it like the invention of the computer or the internet. When computers first arrived, people thought office workers would have nothing to do. Instead, it created millions of new kinds of jobs.
Exactly. We shifted from typing papers on old typewriters to managing software. The same shift is happening right now with AI tools.
That is true. It is not about humans versus machines. It is about humans working together with machines. We call this collaboration.
I like that word, collaboration. It means working together to achieve a goal. So instead of being afraid, we need to learn how to use these new tools to our advantage.
Yes, and that is exactly what we will discuss today. We will look at which skills are becoming essential and how you can prepare yourself for the future.
To understand this change, let's look at what AI is actually good at. AI is amazing at processing huge amounts of data very quickly. It can find patterns, make calculations, and handle repetitive tasks without getting tired.
Right, like sorting through thousands of emails or organizing financial spreadsheets. Computers do that in seconds, while a human would need days.
Exactly. But most people don't realize this. AI doesn't actually understand what it is doing the way humans do. It just follows complex mathematical patterns.
That is a crucial point, Emma. It lacks true comprehension. For example, an AI can write a standard business report based on numbers, but it does not understand the human impact of that report.
Yes, it lacks empathy and emotional intelligence. Those are deeply human traits that a machine cannot truly replicate.
I read a story recently about a customer service department that tried to replace all their human workers with an AI chatbot. At first, it seemed great because the chatbot answered questions instantly.
Let me guess. It did not go perfectly?
Not at all. What happened next was unexpected. Customers started getting angry because the chatbot could not handle complicated problems that required a soft touch. It could not understand frustration or irony.
That makes complete sense. When we are frustrated with a product or service, we want to talk to a person who understands our feelings, not a program that gives automatic answers.
Precisely. The company ended up hiring back their human staff, but they gave them the AI as a tool to look up information faster. That way, the humans could focus on solving the actual problems and connecting with the customers.
That story is a perfect example of what the future looks like. It is about outsourcing the boring, repetitive tasks to technology, so we can focus on the creative and emotional parts of our work.
Absolutely. Think about teachers, for instance. A teacher spends hours grading tests and lesson planning. If an AI can create a basic lesson plan or grade multiple choice tests, the teacher has more time to actually mentor students.
I love that idea. Imagine a world where your doctor spends less time typing notes into a computer during your appointment and more time listening to your concerns because an AI is taking the notes for them.
That would change the whole healthcare experience. It brings the human connection back to the center of the profession.
But here is the thing we must consider. To thrive in this new environment, our skills must adapt. We cannot just rely on knowing how to do a single repetitive task.
Very true. The term people use now is upskilling. It means learning new skills to stay relevant in your career.
And this changes everything because it means learning does not stop when you graduate from school or university. Continuous learning is the new normal.
It really is. In the past, you learned a trade or a profession, and you did that exact same thing for 40 years until you retired. Those days are gone. It sounds challenging, but it is also an incredible opportunity to reinvent ourselves and discover new talents throughout our lives.
Let's talk about the specific skills that will be in high demand. If AI can handle data and routine work, what is left for us?
Well, the first major skill is critical thinking. This means looking at information, questioning its accuracy, and making smart decisions based on context.
That is vital because AI can generate information, but it can also make mistakes or present biased data. We need human minds to verify and analyze the results.
Exactly. We have to become managers of the technology, not just consumers of it. We need to know how to ask the right questions.
Another major area is creativity. AI can combine existing ideas to create something new, but it does not have that spark of original human imagination. It does not experience life, love, or sorrow.
Yes, original storytelling, art, and innovative problem solving still require a human heart. Think about marketing campaigns that touch your emotions. They come from human experiences.
I remember a marketing friend of mine who tried using an AI to design a complete advertisement script for a new brand of coffee. The text it produced was grammatically perfect, but it felt completely empty.
It missed the soul of the message. It used generic phrases like, start your day with energy. It lacked that quirky, unique humor that makes people remember a brand. My friend used the AI version as a basic draft, but then he rewrote the whole thing to add personality.
That is exactly how we should view it. AI is the assistant that gives you a rough draft, but you are the director who gives it life and meaning. So we have critical thinking and creativity. What about social skills?
Oh, social skills are more important than ever. Leadership, teamwork, negotiation, and public speaking are areas where humans completely dominate.
That is so true. You cannot build a strong company culture with just machines. People need to feel inspired by leaders who show empathy and vision.
And think about negotiation in business. It is not just about numbers. It is about building trust, reading body language, and finding a compromise where both sides feel valued.
AI cannot read the subtle energy in a meeting room or notice that a business partner looks hesitant. But here is the surprising part. Even though technology is advancing so fast, the careers growing the fastest are often those that require the most human contact.
Like counseling, coaching, nursing, and event management. People are willing to pay a premium for human interaction. We are social creatures, after all.
That is an excellent point. Even in education, while you can learn code or a language from an app, having a real conversation with a mentor makes a huge difference. It keeps you motivated and gives you a sense of accountability.
That is why we emphasize real conversations on this podcast. Let's look at another side of this transformation. New industries are being created right now because of AI.
That is true. 10 years ago, nobody had heard of a prompt engineer or an AI ethics consultant. Now, these are actual jobs that pay very well.
Most people don't realize this, but a prompt engineer is simply someone who knows how to talk to an AI effectively to get the best possible results. It is all about language and logic.
It is fascinating that a technical job requires strong language skills. You have to be precise, clear, and descriptive with your words. What about fields like law or finance? People often say those professions are at risk because they deal with a lot of documents and regulations.
They will change, but they won't disappear. A lawyer using AI can analyze thousands of legal cases in minutes to find references for a trial. What happened next in a recent study was that lawyers who used these tools were able to help twice as many clients.
So it makes professionals more efficient rather than replacing them. They can focus on strategy and advising their clients instead of spending days reading old documents in a basement library.
Exactly. It levels the playing field, allowing smaller firms to compete with massive corporations because they have access to the same analytical power.
This brings us to an important question for our listeners. How can someone start preparing for this future today, regardless of their current job?
The first step is to overcome the fear and start experimenting. Don't avoid these tools. Open a free AI tool and try using it for a daily task.
That is practical advice. For example, if you need to write an email in English for work, write it yourself first. Then ask the tool to suggest improvements or point out grammatical errors.
That is a brilliant way to use it as a personal tutor. You learn from the suggestions and improve your own skills over time.
And this changes everything for language learners. In the past, you needed a lot of money to hire a private coach to check your writing. Now, you have a basic tool available 24 hours a day.
But remember, as we said earlier, don't just accept everything it gives you blindly. Use your critical thinking to decide if the tone fits your personality and context. Another key takeaway is to focus on your soft skills. Work on your public speaking, practice active listening, and learn how to manage teams.
Those skills never go out of style. No matter how advanced technology becomes, a person who can unite people and communicate a clear vision will always be valuable. It is about building a personal brand based on your unique human qualities.
Let's address a common concern. What about younger people who are entering the job market right now? What should they study?
That is a tough question for parents and students. The old advice was to study a very specific technical skill, like coding. But now, AI can write basic code very well.
It is true. A lot of entry-level coding tasks are being automated. But here is the surprising part. The demand for people who understand the big picture of technology is increasing.
So instead of just writing the lines of code, you need to understand how different software systems connect and how they solve real human problems.
Exactly. It is about systems thinking. It is better to be an adaptable generalist who can learn quickly than a specialist whose narrow skill might become automated.
I like that phrase, adaptable generalist. It means having a broad understanding of several areas and being ready to pivot when necessary. Flexibility is the key. If you are open to change, the future looks bright and full of adventure rather than frightening.
It reminds me of a traditional craftsman I met last year. He makes handmade leather bags. He was worried about online automation and big factories. What happened next was unexpected. He embraced social media and used basic automated tools to handle his online orders and shipping labels. This saved him hours of paperwork, allowing him to spend all his time crafting the bags and telling his story online. His business doubled.
That is a beautiful example, Liam. He used technology to support his traditional human craft, not to replace it. His customers buy the bags because of his personal story and the human touch.
Exactly. Technology became his amplifier, helping him reach a global audience from his small workshop. So, to summarize our conversation today, the future of work is not about machines replacing us, but about machines elevating us.
We should look at AI as a partner that takes care of the repetitive, data-heavy work, freeing us to be more creative, more empathetic, and more innovative.
To thrive, our listeners should focus on continuous learning, cultivate their critical thinking, and polish their communication skills.
And most importantly, do not be afraid to adapt. Change can be uncomfortable, but it is also the only way we grow.
Well said, Emma.
Embracing new tools while keeping our unique human qualities is the ultimate strategy for career success in the age of AI.
I couldn't agree more. It has been such an inspiring conversation today, Liam.
It really has, Emma.
I hope our listeners feel more confident about their future careers and found this episode helpful for their English listening practice.
I am sure they did. It is all about taking these ideas and applying them step by step in your own life.
Absolutely. Every small step counts towards your personal and professional growth.
Thank you for joining us today on SmartSpeak Podcast.
If you enjoyed this conversation and learned something new, don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with a friend.
Keep practicing, keep improving, and keep speaking English.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.